Good evening, beautiful people of the You Create the Dream page, and welcome to Awake in the Dream. This is our fortnightly call. Let's just make sure that everything is working okay. And here I am, smooth sailing tonight. Do say hi as you come on. Let me know that you're here. So tonight's call, I actually have come on a little early, but tonight's call has actually been inspired by a friend of mine. So a friend reached out a few days ago and he said that he feels as though he's right on the edge of something, a shift of sorts. And the truth is, I know many of you have been feeling that as well. Things are changing. The chaos feels quite loud right now, doesn't it? It literally flashes across the screens. It ricochets through most conversations and literally hums in the background like static that you can't quite switch off. And yet, beneath the noise, there's a quieter frequency that is calling you. And if you quieten the mind for just a moment, you can actually feel it. It's that subtle pull toward truth, toward something cleaner, clearer, something that's older than fear. And why is it older than fear? Because it's a truth, it's a timeless truth. So tonight is about answering that call. Tonight is about the edge that you're standing on, the edge of awakening and learning to see beyond the matrix without losing your feet on the ground, because staying grounded is so extremely important, especially now. You are not imagining what it is that you're sensing. There is a tectonic shift underway. The old scaffolding of certainty is rattling, and the stories that once felt solid, thank you so much, Libby. And the stories that once felt solid now show their seams. Things are crumbling. This is the moment between worlds. The old no longer fits and the new isn't quite formed yet. It's a little confusing at times, but it's also very sacred, because what looks like an unraveling is often a deep remembering, and what looks like chaos can be the precise choreography that brings you back to yourself. So let's name what we're all feeling. The world is saturated with urgent headlines. It's divisive. It's I mean, look, it's a game. The old game of divide and conquer still exists today, unfortunately. So it very divisive talks. And all of this stuff is nothing more than a very clever distraction. None of it is accidental. It is all by design. Why? Because a tired, frightened, and fragmented population is easier to steer than a clear, connected, powerfully present one. Fear narrows your vision. I want you to keep that in mind. You cannot, when emotion is high, intelligence is low. When you are in fear, your sight becomes this very narrow tunnel, because you're focused only on what it is that you fear, rather than the openness and expansiveness of seeing things as they truly are and recognizing that there's a lot more going on. So please keep that in mind. Fear narrows your vision. It compresses possibility into the smallest of corridors. So what actually happens at this point, so I'm just making sure, here we go. Hello, Amanda, Libby, Jenny, how are you, beautiful people? So what's actually happening here is they're programming you so that you stay in this teeny tiny corridor where all you are focusing on doing is surviving, obeying, and repeating that over and over and over again. But you're not born to live in that corridor. That's not what you're here for, certainly not at this time, during a time of incredible transformation. You were born for vastness. You were born for choice. You were born to sense and to know. And you can feel the difference in your body. Fear makes you shallow breathing, or causes shallow breathing. Fear keeps you in a constant state of, angst in your body, stress in your body, constantly scanning, looking for the next threat. Whereas truth makes your chest soften. It opens your heart. It keeps you open and aware of all things. It doesn't always make things easy, though. But what it does is it makes things real. It makes things honest. And honesty is oxygen for the soul. So what is, hey, Libby, actually, I think I already said hello to you, but hello again. So what is this matrix that we talk about? It's not a single institution. It's not one enemy with a face. It's it's interesting. It's like this woven carpet. There's a whole lot of things at play, right? But in amongst this, in our matrix, it's a grid. This is the image I'm getting right now. It's a grid that looks like it's been woven. And what happens is we have been deeply programmed into a state of learned helplessness, inherited shame, unexamined rules, narratives designed to keep you reactive rather than reflective. It's the collective habit of looking outside for permission, looking outside for validation, looking outside to then put a price on your self-worth. It's forcing you to look outside for meaning, whilst the finest compass that you will ever own is already inside of you. The matrix is the spell that says don't trust your own eyes or your intuition. While your intuition is whispering, you were born for so much more than this. You were born with clear sight. You were born with a knowingness. Intuition isn't dramatic. It rarely shouts. It just knows. It knows, it knows, it knows. It knows before your mind constructs a case. It knows instantly, but the problem is you go straight into the mind, into logic. Your heart will know before your mind starts to construct a story and a case to have you believe what somebody else is trying to lead you to believe. Your heart knows before you assemble a spreadsheet of pros and cons. And before you do that spreadsheet, your heart center, your inner knowing, your body has either shifted toward or away. Before you rehearse someone else's approval, your inner knowing has given you a very clean yes or a gentle no. The more that you honor that, the more that you tap into your own body, the more that you listen to the whispers of your heart, the more that you honor yourself, the clearer life becomes. The more you override it, the louder life has to get to bring you back. And we've all been there. We've all been there where we've had the little gentle nudges and the whispers, get back on track, get back on track, get back on track. And suddenly the rug's pulled out from under your feet. But you don't need to wait until the rug's pulled out from under your feet each and every time. You can learn. The whole idea is that it's forcing you to come back in, to go inward and to listen, to trust in what's going on within your body, the feelings within your body and the whispers of your heart. You don't need to control the world to be safe. You need to trust the way that you're made. Trust is not blindness. It's alignment. It's a state of standing in the center of yourself, connected to the divine design that runs through absolutely everything and allowing that intelligence to move through you. Because in that state, you don't collapse in the presence of chaos and you don't harden in the presence of fear. You stay lucid. And you see through all the bullshit. How many times have you looked back on what seemed like an absolute catastrophe in your life and realized that it was actually an initiation? How many doors slammed were actually reroutes to windows that you would never, ever have noticed otherwise? That's what I mean by seeing beyond the matrix, by seeing beyond the limitations, by seeing beyond the game, by seeing beyond the invisible prison. This isn't about looking through rose-colored glasses. It's literally training your sight to include the wider field, timing, patterns, meanings, the golden thread that's running through what appears to be random. It's about noticing it all. It's about noticing everything. Actually, there's something that's coming to mind from my own personal journey, and only recently. And if anyone that's done any of my programs will know that if you wake up in the morning, it's only because you've got more shit to learn, basically, right? There's always more to learn. For as long as we're here, there is always more growth, and sometimes it sideswipes us without us even realizing it. So this is something from my own personal journey, and it's not to elevate drama, but to point to design. So recently I found myself in circumstances that moved faster than my plans. One day of, why don't you give yourself a break, Joanne? To which my answer was, yes, soon. I've got things to do. I've got boxes to tick, right? And then suddenly there was no soon left. There I was in hospital, in like literally decisions made like this on the spot, right? I mean, I'm transferred from one hospital to another. Decisions are made quickly, and a feeling of the ground dropping away. Now, the mind would call it chaos, but life had a very, very different story to tell. Now, the thing is, I'm always aware of all things. So interestingly, the only bed available for me was in maternity. It's a ward of what? New beginnings. So here I was, wheeled past these amazing paintings of the womb and the miracle of emergence and life itself. And then in my room itself, as I wheeled me into my room, directly opposite me was the image of a baby crowning into the world and literally welcomed. You'll see this on my social media, but literally welcomed. This is a beautiful painting with hands. So this baby was being welcomed into the world. Now, I absolutely don't believe in coincidences. I know that nothing happens by chance. I believe in the messages. And that moment said to me, you're being born again too. So what looked like total derailment of my very busy schedule became a mirror for rebirth. And that's what it means to see beyond the surface, to not get caught up in the chaos. And it's not to deny difficulty, but it's to recognize that what's making everything possible, or what it's making possible. Maybe that's the best way to say it. It was opening doorways. It was allowing me to see things. Perhaps I wouldn't have noticed that I was in the midst of a rebirth if that hadn't happened. But it literally put me in a bed, made me look at it, and made me realize that I was going through something big, far bigger than the event itself. There is something far greater going on. So you might be feeling something really similar right now. Maybe the old way of working no longer fits. Maybe a relationship is asking to evolve or end. Maybe your body is raising its hand and saying, hey, listen to me. Maybe the beliefs that kept you faithful to smallness are finally losing their grip. So it's not failure, it's the edge. The old identity is dissolving. The new one is not yet visible. And this is where so many people turn back because they can't see that door that says behind door B is guaranteed success. And because you can't see the way, you freak out and you start to move back to same old, same old. So this is where most people turn back. What I'm asking you to do is to not turn back. Stay. Stay in the discomfort for a moment. Breathe. See. And when you are conditioned to how do I want to explain this? Okay, breathe through it, because this is one of my greatest lessons from some almost 30 years ago. What you fear the most offers you the most. They want you to stay stuck in a state of fear so that you don't move forward. And when you are conditioned to stay in a state of fear, or to make every decision from a state of fear, then your nervous system becomes your master. Every headline then owns you. Every opinion knocks you off center. Every conflict recruits you into somebody else's battlefield. When you move from a state of clarity, then you will stop being a puppet and so easily bought. Your nervous system then becomes your instrument. You play it beautifully, you soothe it, you direct it, you choose when to act, when to wait, when to pray, when to speak, when to leave, when to love harder. You decide it all, because now you see that in every moment there are a myriad of possibilities. So here's what I want you to remember. Clarity is practice, but it's built in small, sacred decisions. It's built in what it is you consume, what you repeat, what you tolerate, how quickly you react, how deeply you listen. So don't go looking for grand proof that you're awakening. I want you to look at all the little micro moments, the moments that you choose truth over drama, the moments that you choose presence over scrolling, the inner guidance over the external noise. And celebrate each and every one of those moments. Give yourself a pat on the back and realize that what you're doing is you are unplugging from the matrix. You are unplugging from the bullshit. You are unplugging from somebody else's stories. That's what spiritual adulthood is. That's what sovereignty is. So in fact, I'd actually love to like to make this really real for you and to give you an experience. We're going to keep this very grounded, because it's not about escaping the world. We're learning to see it clearly and to walk in it powerfully. So if you can, I would love for you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And again, a deep breath in and exhale. I want you to keep breathing deeply, rhythmically. That's right. Just be here. And in your mind's eye, I want you to see yourself standing in a busy city mall, let's say. Screens flicker, notifications ping, arguments flare, and they fade too. There's a hum of urgency. There you are in the middle of the chaos of the city, aware of all of these things, all of this noise. That hum of urgency, too many voices, too many choices. This is the surface. This is the matrix in motion. It's loud, immediate, persuasive. But now I want you to notice a doorway tucked into a side street. There's no neon sign, there's no spotlight, just a simple door that grabs your attention. Perhaps it's a door that you might have walked past 1,000 times before and not really noticed it. But I want you now to walk to it. Place your hand on the handle and notice that it's cool and solid there in your palm. But now I want you to open the door. I want you to step inside. You've entered a quiet room with really large windows. The city is still outside, but in here the sound softens, the air feels clear. There's a long wooden table with a single lit candle. I want you to pull out a chair, sit down, and just watch the flame. Just watch the flame. At first, the mind tries to pull you back. What if? What about? What next? What might you be missing outside there? Let the thoughts pass by like trains that you choose not to board. Come back to the flame. Just watch the flame. And now in this quiet space, I want you to just notice how connected you begin to feel with the flame. And now allow a question to come to mind, a question that has been perhaps heavy on your heart of late. Just allow it to come. Is there another way of seeing it? Bring it here to be seen in truth. Perhaps it's something that's weighed heavy on your heart. Perhaps it's a noise, an argument that you have with yourself constantly or somebody else. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But bring it here to be seen by truth. Place the question on the table. Choose to see it from a space of truth. But you see, you know that you're on the edge, that you're on the edge of something great. You're on the edge of a deep awakening. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You know that you're on the edge of more, but perhaps you've been too frightened to have a good look at what that might be. But whilst you're here at this table with that candle, let's ask, what is my next best step? And trust in what comes. What signs have I been ignoring? Where have I been overriding my inner knowing? Notice how the flame flickers. And in the flicker, a word arises or a sensation or a picture. Maybe it's not loud, maybe it's small, maybe it's a steady pull, but honour whatever comes. This is how intuition speaks, simply, cleanly, without debate, without stories. And look out through those big windows. The city remains. But from here, you notice the pattern. The screens loop. Same old over and over and over again. The arguments repeat. It's like a wheel. In here, time opens, possibility expands, your breath slows, and you remember. You remember. I do not have to live as if I am at the mercy of the wheel. I can be in this world, but not of the chaos of the world. And now imagine standing and walking to the far wall. There's another door there. And on it is a sign that says, behind the curtain. Go ahead, open it. Open the door. You step into a backstage space. Ropes and pulleys, lighting people, soundboards, all of it. You see how the scenes are now set. You see how spotlights make certain things look bigger than they really are. You see how shadows hide what's right in front of you. No judgment. You're not judging at all. You're just learning, understanding. This is what discernment feels like. You see how attention is directed. It's all sleight of hand. It's all a game. You see how narratives are stitched together. You see where your energy gets hooked. And you also see how easily you can unhook. And as you scan this mirror, or as you scan this room rather, you notice that there's a mirror right there. Scan the mirror now. Look. It's not a mirror of the past. It's a very special mirror. It shows you as you are when you are your true self. Clear-eyed, grounded, compassionate, unbothered by noise. Absolutely impossible to manipulate. This is the you that remembers. This is the you that can walk both worlds, the city and the sanctuary, the stage and the backstage, all without losing your center. So go ahead, step closer, closer and closer to the mirror and meet your own gaze. If it feels true, say silently or out aloud, I choose clarity. I honor my intuition. I trust the divine design moving through my life. And let those words anchor. This is not a promise to be perfect. It's a homecoming to your power. And when you're ready, step back through the door, return to the candlelit room, and then back through the first doorway into the middle of the city again. Nothing out there has changed. In this moment, nothing out there has changed, and yet everything has changed because you have. You can now see with eyes wide open. That's right. And you can choose moving forward to always have eyes wide open and to question absolutely everything. And whenever you're ready, at any point in time when you are ready, simply open your eyes, acknowledging that you choose to see with eyes wide open now. And so it is done. That room that you entered, it's not fantasy, it's a state that you can choose. The backstage space, that's your discernment. The mirror is your essence. You don't need a special time or a place to get there. You need willingness, and you simply need a decision. A decision that says, I will not be owned by fear. I will no longer allow myself to be groomed by the stuff that goes on out there. I will choose to question everything and always listen to my inner truth. I will not lose my power to anyone or anything. I will not outsource the truth through somebody else's eyes when I can trust in my own eyes. I will not silence the voice within me that has been right all along. Because if you look back, you'll realize you've been right all along. If you want to see through the matrix more easily, then you have to make these commitments. Perhaps you can repeat these after me. I curate what comes into my field. I am thoughtful about headlines, timelines, and conversations designed to inflame rather than inform. I see the difference easily. I nourish myself with truth, with beauty, and lived embodied wisdom. I slow down the moment between trigger and choice. If I'm hooked, I pause, I breathe, and I ask, what's the truth here? I also ask, what do I know beneath the noise? I commit myself to building a daily intimacy with my own intuition. I journal the hunches. I trust myself. I celebrate the small yeses. I learn the language of my body's no. I return to community. I choose circles that remind me who I am, reflect who I am, and I allow that to reflect back to me. I choose to never shrink to belong. I honor timing. I don't force clarity, but I don't flee from it either. I practice gratitude so as to keep my frequency available for magic. Gratitude strengthens the signal of my intuition. It cleans my lenses. And so it is done, and so it is done, and so it is done. To each and every one of you, there's a reason that many people are waking up now. The human spirit is remembering itself. You can feel it in the conversations that people are having. And most of these conversations that people are having now, you couldn't imagine them having them 5 years ago. You can feel the shift in your own courage to say that this doesn't feel right for me without requiring, to explain yourself or to get defensive. You can just simply say, this doesn't feel right. And you're finding yourself saying that more often. You can feel the awakening happening within you by your refusal to perform or to keep hanging on to an old identity or an identity that you're expected to be. Why? Because it suffocates your soul and you're not wanting to do anything that suffocates your soul anymore. Awakening is not a costume change. It's like deep, it's bone deep. You don't become someone new. What it is that you finally become who you truly are. And yes, it costs you being in certain rooms, certain dynamics, certain comforts, but it gives you something priceless. It gives you a clean and clear conscience, a connected heart, a life that feels like it's finally yours. So your clarity will be inconvenient for the systems that rely on your confusion. So choose clarity anyway. Your peace will be provocative for people addicted to drama, but choose peace anyway. Your sovereignty will be misunderstood by those who benefit from your compliance. Or what did I say there? Your sovereignty. Oh, yes, because they would, yeah, because they benefit from your compliance. You're not going to comply anymore because you're choosing your sovereignty. You're not here to audition for everybody else's approval. You're here to do you. You're here to be you. You're here to embody truth. And some people are going to feel threatened by that, and that's okay. Some will feel liberated by that because suddenly they will see that there is somebody worth leading, and they will be attracted to your light, and they will choose to follow you to become more because you are living and leading by example. But just know that you are never responsible for their reactions. You are only responsible for your alignment. And if you wobble, as we all do, welcome to being human. This isn't about never getting hooked or wobbling. It's about noticing faster. It's about recovering quicker and choosing cleaner. It's about apologizing when you forget, recalibrating when you stray, and getting back into the room with that candle and the mirror as many times as it absolutely takes for you to come back into alignment. That's the practice. That's the point. I've devoted almost 3 decades to helping people deprogram fear and remember their power through the CTC sessions, through my trainings, through programs like The Power of You, not because you're broken, not because you need fixing, because all you need is remembering. When the subconscious loops, when the noise, when the bullshit falls away, the nervous system softens and the heart takes the lead finally. And then your life doesn't just look different, it feels different. Your energy returns, your courage returns, choice returns. And once you've tasted that, once you've had that awakening, you can't go back to sleep. So as I close tonight's call, because I do have to go into the Power of You program, I want to leave you with a simple, potent invitation. Choose to see clearly. Choose the inner room over that outer noise. Choose it again and again and again. Choose the backstage understanding over the front stage performance. Choose the mirror that shows you as you are when you are the most honest. Choose the sentence that reorders your field. What I mean by that is I want you just to recite over and over and over again in your mind, I choose clarity. I choose clarity. I honor my intuition. I trust the divine design moving through my life. Because the fact is there will be storms. There'll always be storms. There'll always be screens. There'll always be someone selling you a smaller story of who you're meant to be. But you don't have to buy into it. You can stand in the square, you can feel the urgency, and you can still be calm. And that's what honestly and truly, that's what it is we need to be mastering right now. To stand right there in the middle of the chaos and to not be affected by the chaos. That's what this is all about. Stop allowing yourself to be affected by what's going on out there. And if you are affected by it and you can't help yourself, then get into that room and look at the candle. Stop looking at the chaos if you are allowing it to affect you. Just know that you can go back, you can look at the candle, you can walk backstage. And you can go backstage and you can actually look at all the machinery and all the things that are going on to create that scene to make you forget who it is that you were born to be. And then from that point, with enough practice, you can return to the world not as a pawn, but as a presence. So the edge you're standing on isn't a cliff, it's a threshold. On one side is a life that is designed and directed by noise, and the other is a life directed by knowing. So just take a step. You take a step, and I promise you the floor will appear. The support will assemble itself. We need you. The world needs you now. It needs you to be the greatest version of yourself, because you were never meant to fit inside a box that you didn't build. You were never meant to live by somebody else's blueprint. You were born to lead your room. So stand tall, breathe deep, be the best version of yourself, and shine bright. Shine bright. I'm going to leave it there because I do have another call to get to, and that is an alarm. Okay, wishing you the most amazing evening. Breathe deep, stand in your power, and become master of your vehicle. All right, much love to each and every one of you, and I will see you in a fortnight for our next Awake in the Dream call. Much love.